Hello and welcome back to Purple in Peril, a Warlock life. We've made it into the epics. This is level 20. Just to look back on the heroic journey, whilst it's true that he has decent gear that you wouldn't have in hardcore, he is only a few past life character and he never came close to death on the way up, doing Reaper 1 all the way. So something like this tanky Warlock, might be a decent choice if anybody's watching and thinking about a build for a possible hardcore event. I don't play the hardcore myself. I just, I think two things. If I did something silly and caused somebody else to die, I'd be mortified. But as well, if there was some kind of a lag or something, and I lost my character through that, especially close to the goal. I mean, that's one thing to be said about this. The recent issues on Orion, there have been quite a few really laggy days, and one in particular, my game just froze completely, and I thought, oh well, that's it. I'll have to restart the quest. I logged back in a few minutes later to find not only the purple was sitting there on full health, but everything around him had died. So the ticking aura had kept him going and slowly but surely killed everything around him. So I suppose that's another reason you might want to have a go at this particular one in the hardcore league. So very survivable. Otherwise, I've begun to reorganise on the I've reorganised on the enhancement side. I've gone with 16 in here. As I mentioned, purple has no racial points at all. So I've taken what I saw as the main priorities, but there are plenty more you could take in the racial tree. You could go with. I don't think you need any more rage uses, by the way. You take that one by default anyway to get into the tree. But as you can see down there, we've got 7. And with the extended rage, they're lasting for 5 minutes now. I think as you as you boost your constitution higher, I think they might go higher still in terms of how long they last. I think that might be how it works. So at the cap, you certainly won't need more than 7, unless you're taking advantage of the is it the Beast's Mantle filigree that gives you 1,000 temporary hit points every time you trigger a rage. So you could end up with maybe a dozen rages, spend most of them in some kind of end fight, and just trigger the rage and then dismiss it and then trigger it back again for a hefty load of temporary hit points. So I haven't taken. I've missed a constitution there, but that would have cost me 3 points to get that 1 point. So I left that for now at least. If I'm in an odd number at the end, maybe I can rejig the tree again. So I've gone for the extra rage time. 3 constitution while raging. We've got 12 PRR while raging, which is very nice. Also 30 healing amp, very nice. And here at the top, just for 1 extra point, 20% threat gen, 10 PRR and 5 quality bonus on max hit points while raging, which should be permanently up. So that's great. I've trimmed this tree down, just the 14 now spent for the feigned health, for the 100% of the charisma in temporary hit points, because this build deals a lot still in temporary hit points. We've got the stanch there, 3-pack dice. It's arguable whether that last one is necessary at the cap. For leveling, I'm going to keep it just for a bit of extra damage, seeing as it's me that has to do all the damage. We've still got Utter Dark there. I've kept the 1 point in there for 5 universal spell power. That's not terrible. when we get to the cap again, I could reorganise and maybe put it in something more. There are plenty more things in here I could have gone into. Intimidate I'm not bothering with until reaching the cap because it's just me in the quests. There's some armour class there. I'm tempted to shy away from that as well because even at the cap his armour class is somewhere in the 150, 160 area, which is derisory for a tanky class. It gets the odd miss from trash, but that's about it, so I don't see any point in investing too much in that. I prefer to go on the PRR side. Speaking of which, I've put some PRR into here. I've left the MRR in favour of keeping the light spell power for the moment, just for levelling. When we get to the cap again, we'll see what we do. Taken the healing amp in there as well, because now we have a cocoon. In the fullness of time, I'll have the much better what's it called from the Sentinel tree renewal. Shorter cooldown and just better in my opinion. But for the time being, we're managing with cocoon. Still got the Vistani deflect arrows, so that's the enhancements. So in epic I've gone straight for the, well, to try and make our end strategy take shape. So it's based around these two acid and poison spell-like abilities. So we've taken those as soon as possible along with cocoon, so we can now do some actual positive healing. Hooray! And we're going in this Mantle of Nature Thorn for the leveling time, because this evergreen is going to allow us to boost up our Tempest and Tentacles with Maximise and Empower and later Intensify. In the Draconic I've just taken enough to get the casting spells while raging thing. So we've got 6 more fortitude saves and no fail on a 1, which is nice. Armour class, as I mentioned, I'm not too fussed about, but we'll take it. And 1 more PRR and MRR. I was tempted to go for the spell power, and I'm there thinking, hang on a minute, you know, you've really got to take the saving throws here. So I did. And that's where we're at with the epic stuff for now. Gear wise, it's almost completely heroic. No changes at all except for the caustic forum post I've upgraded to a level 20. Now, no need to farm for or to be sorry if you don't have one of these from the anniversary event. The Borderlands ones are every bit as good, if not better, than these are. And you can get those for the these ingots, epic arcane ingots they are, the Borderlands caster sticks, and you will collect those when doing the quests. And I think they may also drop from the chests in the wilderness area. And yes, I've still got my trusty level 6 coalesced coinage orb. I do have 1 or 2 bits to add at 21. If you were looking for things to add at 21, or even at 20 for that matter, for somebody more seriously contemplating lots of epic past lives, you could look at a 5-piece Saltmarsh epic set. Those pieces, I think only the heroic ones drop in the explorer area, the wilderness area chests, but they're very easily upgraded, and the 5-piece gives a nice set bonus. So that's one possibility. The other possibility is Borderlands items. You've got these kinds of things, so you similar to the the Borderlands caster sticks that you can get. I think there's an orb in the Borderlands quests for every flavour. We've got some glaciation. I think that one is electric. I've just found these. I ran the Borderlands just to get a couple of extra points to put in the Epic Destinies. So these are reasonable items for the level. Not bad at all. But there's no set bonus going with them. I added in my epic dust cart for a better Death Ward clickable, because I've lost the Death Ward clickable, sorry, the Death Ward spell from the tier 4, core 4 in Tainted Scholar. I think that's about it. So yes, for the first time we're going to be raging. The raging gives us, I think you'll see with the PRR and the con will go up quite nicely. So we get 7 con, 12 PRR when we rage, and that 7 con will go up to 10 in Reaper mode, which is nice. So we go from 50 to 60 in Reaper mode. I think that's about it for now. The quest I've chosen is the Snitch in Phiarlan, one of my favourites, but I do worry about that big box thing in the middle. Chipping that thing down is going to be interesting, to say the least.
The sounds and smells of the busy tavern drift in from the next room. Perhaps Roderick Nettle won't cause a scene.
Got some potions of spell power from the Commendations of Valor. Later on, I think I've got some superior potions of both acid and light to use. But I think there's a minimum level on those, and I don't think I meet the requirement yet. And I also keep forgetting to use them anyway, so no great harm done there. Oh, he's exhausted as the beggar. This Shard Storm in particular goes very nicely with this tanky temporary hit point build, because you get an enhancement later on in the epic primal tree that gives I think it's 25% of your total hit points in temporary hit points every time you trigger that, which is just lovely.
The stench of smoke wafts down the corridor.
So between that and Evergreen and extra dice for our imbue, there's a lot of nice things in the primal tree for leveling purposes. Oh, what have I done there? No. Oh my god. Just casted just cast Sleet Storm by accident, and I am susceptible to that too. I was trying to pull the valve, as you can see, and it's not having it. Okay, never mind. That's what you get for being a coward. Oops, wrong key again. That's one of the things I find as you're leveling up and you're reallocating different keys to different things. I'm constantly pressing a key that used to be for one thing, and it's now something else. Like the cocoon I've just acquired, that used to be one of my big attacks. Let's see if we can just invis through here. And we have enough temp hit points, I think, to get through this trap. Yeah. Quite a few of these older level 20, 21, 22 quests are nice for the fact they drop tokens of the 12 as well to help towards your Heart of Wood or Heart of Blood for heroic DRs. And that includes this chain.
As you turn the valve,
Right, we're going to try the double one now, the Tentacles and the Tempest. That's my oh shit button. Let's see if we can... Oh, didn't get hit, okay. Now here I don't know whether to leave the aura on for the extra health it's going to give or to use the single target blast. I'm not sure. We'll try using our Hood of the Night or whatever it's called. I think I'm going to leave the aura. I think we're going to need every bit of help we can get. Look at his health, 40 odd thousand. It's going to take a while, but I think we're going to get him. Now what's he immune? I've just realised he's immune. I was focusing on my own health. He's immune to poison, as quite a few things are. But he is being hit by the acid, so that's something. I think we'll get there. From memory, he's one of the tougher early epic encounters. Like way tougher than the end boss of this quest, if memory serves. So I'm not too disappointed to be found wanting here. And he's not looking like he's going to kill us, so that's a plus too. Probably mention the aura as it ticks. I mentioned, I'm sure, in the leveling process that that it gave your constitution value in temporary hit points every time it ticks. Well, now in epic we're doubled, so we've got 120 now. Every time that pulses, it's 120 sort of barrier. So that's quite something for enemies to chip into. Obviously, if you're surrounded or if the difficulty level increases, they're going to eat that for breakfast. But if it's just little things coming in and the aura refreshes each time, it's quite a nice little barrier of defense. This is obviously a trap, but walking on the extreme side on this metal pipe work here saves you from having to be blown off the edge. that didn't work well. Let's try the Tempest. Okay, so against groups of things, we're pretty good. It's just the big bosses where our single target damage is woeful. You could say that about Warlock in general, but this build in particular. The Enlightened Spirit has horrendous single target damage, but that's not what you're there for anyway. Although it does cause a bit of a problem when trying to solo. Still, you can console yourself in the fact that for the rest of the quest, unless there's something really awful happens, you're pretty much unkillable.
Watchdogs dream peacefully in the sunshine below. If you're careful, you can catch up to Roderick Nettle and still let sleeping dogs lie.
I don't like to kill the dogs. I have a dog myself. It does actually tell you, I think, when you run out of shift. But sometimes if it's in the heat of the battle, I miss it. So when it's getting low, I just cancel the rage and refresh it. Gather round, people, gather round. Okay.
Roderick Nettle's familiar giggle can be heard in the next courtyard. It's time to deal with him once and for all.
I think we could make use of the... oh, I forgot to switch back my trinket, so we've been down on spell power for that. That being considered, that's not been too bad a run.
You will call on me again, and soon.
It's not looking too bad. He's immune to the poison, but not the acid. I just think it's a nice synergy with it being an acid warlock anyway. These two spell-like abilities that have acid and poison. And then there's a really nice legendary ring you can wear, the Ring of Falls Decay from Feywild, that gives you acid and poison, spell power and crit, so it just seems to fit together quite well as you go further into the epic. Okay, I think that'll about do it for level 20. That wasn't too painful. Thank you very much for looking, and we'll see you soon. Take care.